Okay, I've got some vocal here, so I think I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let me see who I've got with me. Uh, Glad to see you here, Eherd. Glad to have you aboard. Now, I want to run through what's going on at this point in the course. Obviously, this is Module 8, and Module 7 was of course spring breaks. But I want to just kind of get us lined up in terms of logistics. What's going on today? Do this screencast. Now, I want to say this because I had it happen earlier today in another course. The machine just simply froze up on me, and I really didn't have too much chance except to just stop, take out the battery, etc. And so, if something like that should happen, don't worry. Before the end of that day, I'll have the video posted. Now, we have the screencast today, and then I have the screencast for March 28th, which is Wednesday, will be pre-recorded. I've got some meetings and so that day's kind of stacked up on me, so I'm just going to go ahead and record the lecture. I'll do that either tonight or tomorrow sometime. So you'll have that to take a look at. That will be for Wednesday, March 28th. And we'll go down to the modules. Let me go to the syllabus first. We'll take a look at it. Okay, don't forget, of course, we have Good Friday is Friday, so we're going to lose that day. And for coming up March on Thursday the 29th, we've got 3 things that are due. And the 29th, of course, is Thursday, right? And 3 things are due are the few texts, chapter 11 and 12, that quiz, and then XLS 8 and XLS 9. Now, these 2 assignments, XLS 8 and 9, okay, they should already be uploaded. You've done those, so really all you should have is the text, is the quiz over few chapter 11 and 12, okay? That really is all you should have going on. Now, let's go back to the modules, and we'll take a look at this for a moment, all right? That section, it will pretty much confirm for us what we got going on. And let's go down here to module or week 8. And of course, you can see XLS 8 should have been uploaded, XLS 9, and so you should have already had those uploaded. Now, page 7, where did I have you do? Chapter 6. Here is XLS 7 back here, but you should have 7 and 8 and 9. Really, these we've done all the Excel cases, so you should have uploaded these by now. And then, of course, you have the quiz on the 29th. Okay. Now, I have some resources for you to take a look at. One on business intelligence gives you kind of an overview of what it's all about. I have another one that shows us the ROI on analytics and the return on investment that companies get using these techniques, and then an easy Excel on regression. Okay, and so those are some resources to help put the course into a larger perspective. Now today we're going to work on access case number 2. Okay, database number 2, database case number 2. And this is over on page 165 in the Solve It textbook. It's Hudson, Palmer, Martinez, and Flenderson attorneys at law. And we're going to construct a personnel database, and we're going to do table setup, data input, select queries, report design, and print. So we'll have a little kind of a mixed bag of a number of things, and things will get a little more detailed as we go along. So again, this is all, you should have the textbook open with you as we walk through this process. Now, I'm going to go to the files section, okay? And I want to find access case 2 that's been done here. I think I have everybody, all of the cases visible. So if you need to, you can do that and take a look at it. Let's see here. And it could be down here under Hudson Palmer. Here it is. Now, if all else fails, all right, and I'm going to go ahead and make that, I'm going to publish that anyway. Now, you say, are these all different versions of the same case? Yes, they are, because in some of them I work on some things, some I work on others. There's the database case. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's pretty much it. Might have an LXS. No, those are Excel cases. Let's see if I've got ACCV2 up here. Okay, there's one. Yeah, here you are, and I'm going to go ahead and make it visible as well. Publish it. So if we're working today and you have a problem or something like that, there are these cases to fall back on. Okay, and you should have already uploaded Northampton. We've already done that. So we're starting on access case number 3. Now, this is the one that I did. Let's see. There's one of these that I uploaded last semester high, and last week, or 2 weeks ago, excuse me. Okay, now let me go over here to the files section, and we're going to go down and we're going to find the file for access case number 2, and we're going to do some work with it. And I want to come down here to the solution, Solvit 6.0 solution files, and you open that up, and we'll download it. Now, as I said, always don't forget, download it to your desktop, then reopen it, rename it, and then close it back up. So this is the Hudson Palmer case. So I'm going to take it and put it on my desktop. All right, and I'm going to open it up. All right. Now this is a solution case. This is a solution file, but that's okay, because I'm going to walk you through all the tasks that we need to do. Okay, and that's pretty much usually. So now what I would do is I would open this up down here, and then I'm going to come back here and I think probably what I'll do, make it Hudson Palmer, and I'm going to rename this Hudson Palmer Harmon Keith, March 26, 2018, just for kicks, but also to make sure that the file uploads, and I've got it. So take it down to your desktop, open it, close it, rename it, and then reopen it. And of course, you should have it down there. All right, now, if we take a look at page 165, now again, these cases flow according to a basic pattern, and they get some information about the company, okay, and then they begin to talk about one of the needs, and this is they want to construct a personnel database, and so they've got some information some more at the bottom of page 165, and then they tell us about this person, Jeffrey Hudson, who I guess who started the firm, and they want to establish a centralized repository or centralized database, okay? And they give us some more information about this, people with certain skills, what they can do, and some unhappiness, the way things are. And so the partners decided to identify some fields, and this is the middle of page 166, okay? And here's the skeleton file. I'll open it. Let's take a look at it. All right, see, as you can see, it's just a partial. Doesn't give us what we want. Here's the answer file. I'm going to open it up for a minute. All right, and you'll see that we have the following. We have the last name, the first name, their skill, and these skills are for particular skills they have, like PS, I think, is a process server. PI is a private investigator. EW is an expert witness. LR, what in the world is LR? Legal researcher. And then we have a PS. We're talking, that's processor. So we have these people who have these particular skills, okay, and they're paid at a certain hourly rate, excuse me, and we have the data from Q1 for 2009, each of the quarters for 2009. Now you could thank me because I imported some data and created this to kind of get it started and put in some comments and so forth. And now again, this gives us an opportunity to do a little bit of work on table design. So let's go in here and we'll click, and I'm going to right click. If I'm going to go to the design view of this database. Now, I can either do it by right clicking on the tab, or I can come up here into the file area. It doesn't matter, whichever works for me. And here we see the design view for this, for this table. Now, as we've been proceeding, there are some things that we need to do to make this a little bit better. And we're going to start first of all by adding an ID. And I'm going to come down here right under comments, and I'm going to put ID. Okay. And instead of short text, I'm going to click the button, and I'm going to make it an auto number. And what that means is that it's indexed, and I don't want to have any duplicates on this table. No, I don't want any. So I'm going to choose yes, no duplicates. Okay. And let's click up to comments. All right. And we'll look at it, and it comes down and on the general validation rules, and we come down to required, down in the general properties, and we're going to click yes. As I've talked about before, why would we input the data? You know, why wouldn't we go ahead and get the data? And see, by doing this, I'm going to just type in yes, I guess is what I'm going to do. There it is. That's required. Okay. Now I'm going to go up to rating. All right. Here's another one where it's required, and we want it to be required. Okay. I'm going to go up to the rater, and I'm going to put that's required. I don't. There's no point in collecting the data if it, and what will happen is if I make it required, okay, then what happens is the record won't save if you don't have all the fields completed. So that saves us in the problem of empty cells. So now this on the required, yes, I want it required, and I want the yes. Now you'll notice something up here. You see the thing called default value. If no other value is put in there, then it defaults to 0, okay? Because these are numbers, the number of hours the person worked. Now, we should also have all of these descriptive bits of information here. And then we'll go back and let's see, we'll make that required. Let's go up to Q2. That should be required. Okay, this is just, doing queries is not that hard. The problem is what you query on. That and if you're looking, if it's just like if you use bad ingredients, you'll get a lousy meal, and if you use bad data or no data, you're gonna have a hard time dealing with the you're gonna have a hard time dealing with the reports you get, and you just have junk. Let's click on skill, and we're gonna make sure it's required. Okay. And then first name, yes, it's kind of stupid if I wouldn't get their first name. So we'll make that required. And then on the last name, we're going to put yes, it's required. So we're requiring all of these. And again, if I were doing this out in the real world, I would have a detailed description for what each of these fields mean, and who I am and the date I put that description in there, okay? Because we might do something that we might end up with not understanding what we've got. So let's go up to the data sheet view, and I'm going to click over here on the far left. And well, before I do that, let's do this. Let's take this ID and move it up to the very top. So click on the ID, and there it goes. And if you click on the little corner, left click, you should see that little square, and you should be able to put it right up there. Okay? And we have an auto number, and now we're ready to save it. But we'll go up to the data sheet view, and they'll make us save it anyway. Okay? Now we have a much better table. The reason is data are required. Number two, we have an ID, okay? And each time we hire one of these people to work for us, we have a new person, they get an automatic ID. Now, this could be, I'm using an auto number. Obviously, this could be their social security number. It could be some employee number you've given them at random. It doesn't matter. The whole point is that you make sure that you have that in ID. Now, we want to do a little bit more work here because we've got some places here where we could do some table development. And so, and again, this is case number 2. So what I want to do, all right, is create a table, okay, and called skills. So I'm going to come over here and close this out. And what we're going to do is a drop-down menu, okay? Now I'm going to click Create. I'm going to go Table Design. And I'm going to put the field name, and I'm going to make it an ID. All right. I'll make it an auto number. Okay. And then I'm going to have the skill abbreviation. And then I'm going to have skill description. Okay? Now, let's go back up to the data sheet view, and it'll ask us to save it. We say, yeah. Hang on a minute. I made a mistake. I'm here preaching to everybody about requiring these, and I didn't. So we'll make that required. Well, we're doing a lookup table. Let's leave that alone for now and just go up to the data sheet view, and we'll save the table. And we're going to call this skills. And to skills lookup. Okay. We'll make the ID the primary key. I'll just make sure that it came through. We're good. Okay, now I've got the skill abbreviations, all right, and we're going to go ahead and enter them. And the reason we're doing this is because as we add people on, we're going to create that little drop-down menu. So I have a skill abbreviation, and I'm going to start with I'm going to try to make it alphabetized if I can. Okay, EW. Okay, and that's an expert witness. All right, now we'll come to the next one, and we have LR is a legal researcher. Okay. Again, I'm really focusing us on making good tables, building good tables as the first step. Okay. And then we've got, what's the servers? We got legal certified. process server private PI, and that's a process server. And then we have the PR, private investigators, process server. Okay, that's when we need process server, PS. I would keep wanting to put a PR in there. There's the one. And so we, okay, this is a private investigator. So now, go back up here. This should be private investigator. My apologies. Okay. And then we've got process server. Okay, we've got those four. Now we're going to close the table, and we're going to save it. Now we're ready to do the lookup. Let's go back here to this Hudson Palmer answer file, and let's go to the design view. Okay, and I'm going to click on skill. Okay. And then we're going to do a lookup menu for it. And so I have a display control, and I'm going to choose a combo box. And it says, okay, a display control is a combo box. The row source type is a table or a query. The row source, and click on row source, and you'll see, okay, the three little buttons that emerge. The two blue buttons, one with a little drop down and one with an infinity, or three dots. Click that, and we're going to get the skills lookup table. We'll add it in here. And now it's important to make sure that you place these like you want them. So I'm going to put the skill abbreviation here and the skill description here. All right, and then we'll run the query. It'll show us what we've got, and we'll close this. I'll say yes. Everything. And now there's the SQL there in the row source. Now I want to come down here and says I have one bound column, and then I have two columns. So what the bound column is, it says, okay, this is a fixed amount of space, and then how many sub columns or column counts do we have inside there? Okay, and then we do the column widths, and we're going to do 1 inch semicolon 2 inch. Okay. And I think let's go back up and look at the data sheet view and see what it looks like. Save the table. Now, as we come over here, we've got the rater, okay, and pardon me, not the rater, the skill, excuse me. And if I smoosh this off a little bit, I come down and put in new data. There's my menu. Now I can keep adding to those if I have other skills that come on board. And I'm not going to repeat this process, but I think you could probably see, all right, where this can take me. Are there any other places where I can do this and create, just help assist the input of the data? Well, one would be the rater. We have their initials, but we don't know who they are, so we could put their initials. We could create a rater table, okay, that has their initials and then their name. Rating, you know, that's okay. You know, if we decided to put a numerical value to the ratings, we could always create a rating table and have the description and then a number, okay, if we wanted to do that. So we could look at average ratings or something of that nature. Then we have the comments. Okay, so we've cleaned this table up and fixed it up pretty nice. All right, now I'm over here and we've really worked through number one. We completed the design of the table. We fabricated and entered the hours that they worked. Okay. And we have the initials for the partner who's contributing the remarks. That's the rater. And so then we're ready to do some work in terms of running the queries. Now, at the bottom of page 166, here's what they ask us to do. Create a query that shows the contractors sorted first by their skill, then by their rating, and then by their name. Include the comment field and print the results of this query. We're not going to print it, but we're going to get that information. Now, I want to show you what we did here, and I'm going to close this table off now. And click on task 3 there, and we'll look at the design view. All right. Now, here's what we got going on. Let me adjust down just a hair. All right. And I'll move these out a little bit. Now, now, here's one of the problems. Okay, and they wanted the ratings in ascending order. Okay, now let's go up top, and we've got this query, and let's go take a look at the data sheet view. Okay, and see what we've got. And now, fortunately, when we designed this, we were smart enough to put ratings in terms of in alphabetical order. And you could see that excellent, then good, then O for okay, and then a P for poor. So, we designed that in so that we have them in ascending order. So we have the skill, with person's skill, we have their rating in ascending order, and the skill sorted by their skill, we've got that, and then we've got their rating, and we got their last name, first name, and then any comments. Okay, so when we're doing something like a rating, again, okay, we have a description here. We might want to go back, create a ratings table, a lookup table that we could use that has numeric values attached. So if we wanted to do some computation, we could. Okay, so not that big of a deal. Again, and then here's a problem. We have some records, okay, that don't have comments, and we really do need to have that. And you're going to run into this. This looks a lot like what you're going to see at work, and you'll be asking yourself, "And what happened to this? Is it someone forgot to put something in, or they're not supposed to? What in the world's going on?" Okay. Now, one of the nice things I can do is with the comments section, I can go in and I can try to find something. So I'm going to click find, and I'm going to look for the word excellent. Oh, I need to find what excellent in the current document. Okay, let's try that one. There we go. So what I did is I didn't make sure that I looked in the current document. All right, and so I want to make sure in the whole field. So we can find the next one. Now this is helpful because if I'm wanting to find people who do a really good job, boom, I look for excellent. I just check collect those, boom, throw them out to somebody. Now on task number 4, okay, and we'll see. Yeah, we'll change this. Let's look at it. All right, and let me pull this out. And here's where I'm going to, as you've heard me say before, Excel is for computational work. Access is for collecting and sorting data. Let me move this down a little bit more. And this is task number 4. Now, task number 4 is the top of page 167. Here's what we got. They can create a report to list all the freelancers and contractors with just the following fields: last name, first name, hourly rate, the total number of hours worked, and the total amount earned in 2008. Print the report. Okay. Now, below here, you're going to see some expressions. This is one of the reasons, okay, why I say let Excel be Excel, let Access be Access. Now I'm going to copy this, okay, and then put it into a notepad so you can see. Here's the expression. Now, if you don't put in the exact name of the field inside brackets, you'll get what's known as a parameter error. It won't recognize what you're after. And so we've got total hours, okay, and the colon means perform an operation, and we're going to add the data for these 4 quarters, okay? Now, this is not too complicated. Where it becomes complicated is if I have to do formulas or something like that, but just rudimentary stuff like this, not a big deal. On the other hand, though, you could probably take the data, import data into Excel, and do the computation and bump it back over here. Okay, but we've got that done anyway. And now we've got the total hours. All right. Now I'm going to go back over here to the other expression. And I'm going to copy it. And then put it in here for us to see. All right, now here's the total earned. And notice, okay, we've got hourly rate, and it's in brackets, and it's spelled exactly like it's supposed to be spelled, okay? We have hourly, then underscore, then rate, times, and now total hours, which was at one point, an unbound expression, which is what that is, till we do this computation. Now we have it inside of brackets, and we would probably be safe to put an underscore between total and hours, but we didn't, so I think we're okay. But those are the expressions, all right? And again, simplistic stuff like this, it's worth your while to spend the time, but otherwise, use Excel, especially if you're going to have to do some formulas, division, things of those nature. I just really recommend you do it, okay? Well, we've got those expressions there, and now we can run the query. I'll come back over here to the up here to the far left, and click Run, and there it is. Now, technically what we've just created, okay, is called a view. You say, well, why is it called that? Very simple. What we've done is we've gone into that table, okay, this answer file, that table, and we've pulled data out. We've taken a peek based upon some standards that we're after, okay, or just certain fields that we want. Now, what gets saved is not the new data set. This doesn't get saved. This is what gets saved. The code. That's why these are so powerful, because I can use the same information, the same data over and over and over. And the only people who'll be changing data at work in the data tables that underlie your database are going to be either your database administrator, someone authorized to input data, or a client, i.e. / customer, or stakeholder who makes an order or whatever, okay? And the preferable thing is to let them do that and have control of that. And so I'm going to close this off. Now we can go back up to the data sheet view, and there it is. And if we want to, we can do some more sorting and customized work with it. if I want to, when I'm on the fly, I can also do some work. I click home, okay, and then I can come over to I want to find I want to filter these. Well, do I? No, no, we'll go back there. Okay, home. I don't want to do create show. Okay. Now, oh, there it's giving me a little guidance if I want to. Now, what will happen normally, even if you do some filtering, for example, or some sorting or whatever on these data, say on the fly, okay, it will revert back to the original query. But the nice thing is you can do some of that work. And my advice again is, if you're going to want to be looking at these data, I would take these data and throw them into Excel. I would export them, and we'll just do that again. So yes, and I'm going to click and it says export to Excel, and I'm going to browse on my machine, find out where I want to put it, my device. I'll go over to desktop, and I'm going to save it there, and then I'm going to diminish down. Let's find it. And it's usually going to be a white looking kind of file, not what we would expect. There's sales. Here it is, task 4. Now notice that we exported to Excel, but it's showing up on the top, on your desktop, plain Jane, which is okay. Open this up, okay? And then what you want to do is you want to save it, and you could save it on your desktop, and put desktop, and it's task 4, and then I put task 4 Harmon Keith. Okay. All right, and we'll save it. And so it's down there. Now we have a little bit of work to do with it. So let's come into each of the columns and size them out. Okay. And here's the total earned. And now we've got something we can do some computational work with. Now, the truth is, you know, I have a list of people. I have how many hours they worked, you know, and I have how much they earned. So now, could I add some other things? Certainly. And probably what I would want to do, okay, would be to run a query that has everything that I want. Now I'm going to close this off, and I'm going to save it, and then I'll show you what I mean. Let's go back up to the to access. All right. Now we have this task 4. All right, and let's open it up. Now, right now we have a nice, tidy little outcome. But let's go down to the design view. Now, I want to find out how many hours. I want to find out their skill, so I'm going to add this. I'm going to find out how many hours they worked in quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, and I'm going to get their rating. You say, why? Well, I'm going to run the query. Now I have more data that I can export to Excel and then use a pivot table in a far more meaningful way. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to close this off. Remember, we do all this so we can make decisions. And I'm going to export it to Excel. Browse, and I'll put it on the desktop. I'll call this task 4. I'll call it task 4 extra. Harmon. Okay, and I'll save it. Okay, and then it'll diminish this down. And I'm going to go over here and I'll see this task 4 extra. Here's my file. Okay. And this would still, I need to save this. Well, it's an Excel file, but it's not showing up as an Excel on the icon. Well, here's what I want to do with this. I want to go ahead and click File. I'm going to do that. Click File, Save As, Computer, Desktop. And I'm going to put it Task 4 Harmon Keith. This is the first one we did. And then click Save. And we'll replace it. And let's see if we get the icon or task 4 Harmon Keith. I'm gonna look around and see if I can find it. Here it is. Now I showed you that for a very simple reason, so that you have an icon. You're used to seeing the icon, so that's just a way to convert it back. Now we've got task 4 extra working here. And I'm going to do the same thing with it. I'm going to open it up. Okay. And then I'm going to click Save As, Computer, Desktop. And that would be a task 4 extra Harmon Keith. I'll put it on my desktop. I'll save it. Yes, we want to put it. And we're good. Now we've got the icons that we're used to seeing in these two. Notice this shard or file is still over here, as is this. And these, now one of the reasons that that Microsoft does this is so you can see this is something I've exported, something I've imported, all right? And I may need to be cautious about it, because it's going to tell me the kind of worksheet it is. And if there are macros, for example, in this worksheet, before I can get it completely open, they'll give me that warning thing. Say yeah, it's macro enabled. So far, we're so good. But let's look at this task 4 extra, and we'll open up. And now, okay, I'm in a position, if I want, to really go to town with a pivot table, because I've got all kinds of dimensions. And I've got data by quarter. I've got the total hours. I've got their rating, their skill level. I've got their name, total hours worked. And we'll just make it a little less crowded looking. Okay, now, if I said, okay, I'm going to do an analysis on this, and I'm going to use pivot table, you're good, you're gold. You've used the database what it's intended to do. The pivot table lets you get, remember, the best of both worlds. Because if you wanted to get the average of the total earned, you get to go back into that query and write another expression. Okay, so what you're saying is maybe do this and bump this in as a table back in once you've got it, yeah, or just keep it, you know, as a data sheet as a spreadsheet application file that you're using. Okay, so no big deal there. Now, let me see. So we've done task 4. And we've made this database a little bit better, easier to live with. And now we come to task 5. Now, let's take a look at task number 5, and that's at the top of page 167. It says, produce and print a report to list all expert witnesses, okay, who charge more than $2.50 an hour. Include in this report the total number of hours this group of freelancers worked. Print the report. All right. Well, not a big deal there. We're going to go into the design view. All right. and we're going to use an expression greater than 250. That's a criterion. And then we also have a second criterion we've applied, and that is they're an expert witness, or EW. Now, if you want to see what it looks like in terms of the SQL, we can dip down to the code level, and I'm going to copy this, and let's take a look at it for a sec, because there's nothing to be afraid of with SQL. It's a sub-language, okay? And let me tell you what, in English, what we're looking at. It says we're going to do a select query, which is about 99% of all of them. We're working with the Hudson Palmer table, case 2, answer file, okay? And notice the table name is inside of brackets, then dot, last name, that's the field. So the field is on, so we're going to get the last name field out of that table. Then we're going to get the hourly rate out of that table, okay? Then we're going to do this, we have this expression that gets us total hours, okay? And then we get the skill, and we're going to get that from the Hudson Palmer table, where, here's where we put a condition where the hourly rate is greater than 250, there's your 250, and the answer and the skill is EW, meaning expert witness. Now, Access has what they call an expression builder, and there's some people who like it and use it. I hate it. I don't use it. I wouldn't recommend that you use it. But, and I'm going to back up to the design view on this, and you can see, okay, and the truth is, when you go to work or when you go out in the world today and you go buy something or whatever, this is the level you're working at. It may have more buttons and whistles. It may look really pretty. It will have some drop downs and things of that nature. But essentially, this is what you're inputting data. And here is, okay. And these might be shoes, color, style, size. Okay, and so that's pretty much it. Now, the authors want to torture us by asking us to do a report. And I'm going to tell you something. That looks pretty, but it takes some time and energy to get it. And it's page 1 of 2. Okay, and I just don't like it. I'm not comfortable working, and that's my issue. If you get in and you're working with the report function in Access, and it works for you, you don't feel like I'm crowded in terms of how many fields I can have in all business, good for you. Okay, so that's pretty much it. That's task 5. Now we'll say yes. All right, and we want to save it. Now, over there on page 167 at the top, they say there are several areas where this system can be enhanced and improved. What will happen next quarter? Okay, what if 2 partners have the same initials? It's pretty simple. You say, okay, what about next quarter? Well, what you could do is this. Okay, you could basically come in and you could just simply create. You could create another table. Okay, and just simply add copy it and copy this and put in, and then change them to the quarters. Now I'm going to copy this and then I'm going to paste it. Now this is something I want you to notice. It says paste table as. All right, now I'm going to leave it the default that gives us, but notice what it says: structure only, structure and data, or append data to existing table. I'm going to put structure only. I'm going to click OK. And now I'm going to answer this. I'm going to open this up. Okay. That's the wrong one. Okay. Oh, wait a minute here. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. there we are. There's a skeleton file that has, and you know, it's simple. I just come in here now. I go into the design view on this, and I call these Q1 2010. But the key is when I copy the table, and I'm going to destroy this so I can show it to you again. Is this the one I want to destroy? Yes. I'll show you how to do it. We'll do it again. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to click the answer file. No, wait a minute. I'm going to copy it. Excuse me. Okay. And then people get nervous about pasting and copying access objects. Don't worry about it. Click on it, click copy, then click paste, and it won't let you in here. You'll have to come back over in here, okay, and you'll paste it in. And then we have these options, and again, we can paste it. We can paste those. We can get the structure only, the structure and the data, or we can append it to an existing table. Now this one sounds like a fun thing to do or is attractive to use it, but both tables have to have the same structure. If they don't, it won't work. So we're going to click just structure only. Okay, and then I'm going to open it up, and I think I'll have my, oops, sorry. And there's my skeleton file. And I can start to put in. And notice they have 0 hours. We've started. And we can start to input the data that way. Okay? Now, one final thing, improvement that we could make, and would be this. Let's create a form. And so I'm going to answer file and make sure that's the one I want. Everybody in there. Okay. Click create. And I'm going to come over to the more forms. And I like a split form. And there we have the split form. We've done this before. And of course, the reason is I want to see how the data in the table change as I input clients. Because if I come in here, you'll see I can add a new record. I can navigate front to back or record to record. I can do a search, okay? And I can see what's going on with the table. Now, probably I want to make sure I've got the acuity I need for both of these. And I can put a picture of my puppy or stuff like that over here, okay? And just make it a little friendlier for a human being than to just input data into a table, okay? And so you have all that. And now, people who do call centers, whether they're outbound trying to bug you to buy something, or you're steamed up about a product doesn't work, whatever, and you call them, will have something like this that they can just say, they'll get your phone number. Sometimes they'll have a system that detects your phone number and say, we see you're calling from Form 1, is that right? Yeah. And they're entering that in, and boom, all the data shows up, and you're good to go. So we're going to save this, and I'm going to say this as the answer file. Okay. And so we have really improved this database. I'm going to back up to the answer file for just a second. No, not this one. Trying to think what we could do with this. Well, we've done a lookup table for the skills, and there's nothing in there where we need an input mask or anything of that sort. We've made everything required, so the records won't save unless we have all the data. We've done some work. Now, let's do this. We've done a lot of exporting, so let's try and import something in. So let's click external data, okay? And it's going to say import and link. So I'm going to click Excel, and I'm going to go down to the desktop. I'm going to come down here. And I'm going to click Task for Extra Harmon Keith. I'll click OK. And no, we don't want to pin them to anything. We don't want to link the tables. We just want to import it. And we're going to get the import dialog box. Now and they show us a sample data sheet, what it looks like. Okay, and we'll click Next. And make sure you have first row contains column headings. In other words, Excel Access, that's fields. Click Next. Now, Access is kind of persnickety about field names, and they're kind of persnickety about ID. So we're going to stay with these. I can click on each of these, and if I want to change the data type, I can. But I don't want to now, so I'll click Next. And here's where they say, let Access add a primary key. You proceed at your own fate if you don't. So just give into Access and say, fine, here's a primary, add the primary key. And then we've got the name. And I'm going to put override existing table or query task 4. And let's not do that. Oh, let's just for the fun of it. Let's see, import to table. Let's go ahead and do that. Import to the table, and we'll finish. Yeah. All right, and then we have the task 4, and there we have we actually have more data than they wanted, but we can just go in. And in the case where we want to, we have more data here than we want to see, like we have all these quarters that they worked. I'll show you what we do with that, not a problem. I'm going to go into the design view. Pardon me. Yeah, I'm going to go into the design view. And it's simple. I can just take these out. And I'm good. Okay. Lastly, they talk about the comments in the memo field. This is step number 7 over here, okay? And no analysis or data manipulation can be performed using the ratings of the freelancer. They conflicting opinions, okay? Well, that's what I was alluded to earlier when I said, okay, why don't we do this? For the ratings, let's add some numeric values. So I have excellent, good, okay, and poor. So I could make 4, 3, 2, 1, and then have a lookup, and then I can do numeric. I can do the numeric work with them. Okay. Now, if I have a whole bunch of these, probably what I'm going to want to do is to export it out to Excel, because I can take that text data that will be the 4, 3, 2, 1, whatever, and do some work with it. But so it doesn't really matter. Now, they go into some length about the memo fields. I'll open this up for just a second, or the comments. All right, let's go into the design view. The comments, they are large. it's large, it's long text, which means it can handle up to 255 characters. Okay, it's required. And the nice thing, if I want, is I can search it. And again, I'll open this up. And now I'm going to find, what? I'm going to look in the current document. The whole field. I'm going to search all of them, and I'm going to find what. And this time I'm going to find good. Now this isn't very impressive until you realize you might have 5,000 records you're looking at. Okay? So there you go. All right, let's see here. All right. I hate reports, but I'm going to show you a couple of things about them. We need to do that. Let's go through that exercise. Go to the task for report and click open. Okay. Now you can boot this up to where you can see it better. Okay. And I'm going to expand it a little bit. I've got the report. Now, I can click this, right click it. Pardon me, let me start from the beginning here. Now, notice that this is in print preview, so I can see this and I usually will see what I see is what I'm going to get. If I want to change it to 2 pages, I can. More pages, I can divide this thing out. So I can do kind of like a page view like I can do in Excel. Now, the other thing I can do is change it to landscape orientation, okay? And I can adjust and change margins and all of that. The main thing is this: right-click the object, the report, and go to Layout View. Now, Layout View is where I can do some minor work and adjustments with the table, okay? And typically what I want to do is name a table as descriptively as possible. Here's the ideal: as few fields as possible that I report as, and then a table, a report title that's as descriptive as possible. And I can go down the hood a little further, and I'm going to go down to the design view. Now, for many times, folks get they get a little bit disoriented by this, or a little bit concerned. Okay, and let's look at this. And I'll pull this down. Now, I'm going to zoom this up a bit. You can zoom it up, but here in the pure design view, okay, you've got graphics, guides, the dots, the columns, the lines, the vertical lines and horizontal lines, the dots. Those are for people who are web designers, etc., to design it to make it look as pretty as possible and put everything exactly where it should go. Okay. There's also, you're going to find there's a report header if you have one. Okay. And then a header for the page. Okay. And then you'll find usually a header, you will find a report footer. Okay. And that's at the bottom. And then you can have a page footer. And notice what we've done here. We put equal now. And then we did a little bit of formatting, and you remember this if you worked some with if you've worked a little bit with Word, you've got some verbiage in here that will run that will give you that data. And again, you can come in here, and now over here in the hourly rate, the total hours, right click it, okay? And what you'll see, and then when you right click it, it's what we call an unbound text box. That is, it's where we put data. Total earned is the same story. Okay, if I want to change it to something else, I can, like a label. Here are labels. That's a label. Okay, and there are people who will come in and would do computational work in here, and let's try this. Let's click on the report properties. And I've got the task 4, the data. What I wanted to do was go in here and mess with this and divide it by 12 to see what they earn per month. But I could always just go ahead and do that easier with a query. All right, now I'm going to close this object off. Yep. And I'm going to close this off. All right. Now you have your Hudson Palmer, and what you want to do is go ahead and upload it in access case number 2. Okay. Now the quickest way to get over there again is click on the syllabus, which is a listing of all the stuff that's due. And you'll also see those in the modules, and you can come over here and where it says upload ACC DB2 here, boom. Okay. And what we'll do on Wednesday, and then the Tuesday section, what they'll do on Thursday is we'll look at access case number 3, and we start to move in. We're moving fairly well. Now, again, let me recommend that you take a look, and if you have a question or something you don't understand about this as we go through it, send me an email, okay, and I'll try to answer it. When you ask the question, tell me on the recording the minute and the hour and the minute point, so I have a reference to go in and find that, okay? As far as I know, these are still given closed captions. They should be, and I think you should be able to get a transcript of them, I think, but I'm not sure if that's been happening for all of you. So that would be pretty much it. I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and stop the share, all right? And then I'm gonna stop the recording.